Hello everybody in the chess world. Today we're going to see the Yermolinsky Gambit, and this gambit is specifically inside the Queen's Gambit except the line. So it's good to, well, take the opportunity to, yeah, I don't think I've shown any video on this line. Well, usually I'm white in this opening. So after the Queen's Gambit accepted, this is a, main line, c5 castles, a6. Here with white, I play what I think is still the main move, which is bishop on b3. Again, before getting into the Yermolinsky Gambit, I'll just show you the basics of these moves. So, and this opening. So, okay, another main line, all main lines are a4. I mean, this is one of the ideas, just to prevent b5 by black. And then black, well, we've just left this b4 square really vulnerable. We don't have a c pawn anymore. The a4 pawn, the a pawn has advanced to a4, no control there. So quite logical sometimes to see some maneuver like this, after maybe capturing on c4 or not. But basically a maneuver like this, yeah, and then putting a solid piece in front of the probably isolated pawn that will get on d4. Normal strategy. G takes c5 is possible here. Of course, it looks pretty drawish. Maybe bishop takes, queen takes d1 and bishop takes c5. Yeah, I mean, it's not too ambitious by white. So, but well, bishop on b3 is one of the main lines. The idea is we anticipate this b5 expansion by black. And so one of the ideas is that, well, if black now goes with b5, because why not? We have not prevented that. Well, now we can react with a4. This is interesting. Yeah, we just want to provoke black. And if they were to play, I don't know, some b4, well, then it's really juicy square for our knight. So yeah, this strategic on melee happening, it's really normal. In here, I'm gonna, I want us to see this unusual knight b7 move. Normal moves here, the main moves are knight on c6. Maybe you could even see some c takes d4 and then knight on c6 is quite normal as well. But basically, yeah, normally you'll see knight on c6. However, once in a while we do see this knight b7 move. And here is where the Yermolinsky Gambit comes, because Yermolinsky here came up with e4, and this is his gambit. And initially, to me, it's really funny because it's like, in a way, saying, hey, like the Queen's Gambit accepted is like a much more incisive opening than it might look at first glance. So black did nothing wrong. We could even say that they developed the correct piece, just this knight. But just because of the fact that they did so, like, not in the most aggressive or active square c6, but on this slightly more passive one on d7, Yermolinsky is like saying, okay, now I can react and try to crush, black immediately. So basically the main line in here is, well, for black to accept the gambit, and after rook on e1, well, here there are four moves. You can play knight d6, you can play knight g on f6, you can play knight e on f6 or g on f6. There's even c4. We'll see all of these lines because this is the idea for me to show you the gambit and to know all kind of compensations we have. First of all, let us check this possibility of c takes e4, which you won't see often if you play this gambit, because of course, well, I mean, c takes d4 might look interesting, but we're allowing e5 now. The pawn is protected, it is advancing, it is attacking the knight. Yeah, intuitively, I think, most players will just play knight 6 on e4 and accept the gambit. But okay, c takes d4, e5. I don't even think there are good jumps for the knight going all the way back. Of course, it's passive, but also let us say this. So black thinks, okay, I'll try to justify a position of this knight here and try to have decent game, but knight c3 normal, and knight on f5, we can even go to f4. Much better here. If the knight goes instead to d5, well, we can actually take it even by giving up our good bishop, because, yeah, we have this isolated pawn. I don't think black can afford to do something like this, just giving up the central pawn for quick development. I don't know, knight c3, I don't see any real compensation for black. What else? Well, maybe knight g4 after e5. Going to g4 seems to be the most logical, but it's really easy to protect the e5 pawn And meanwhile, the d4 pawn is, well, all the contrary, really hard to protect. We're already hitting it with queen and knight. So if bishop c5, we can even start with this. And it's good to know that this initially might look awful, like we're giving up the pair of bishops and opening up the g file for this rook to attack. I think this is right procedure. We just play normal chess. We don't have to be worried about the g file. Just play normal like this. Much better here. It's never enough for black. Queen c7, maybe another way to protect the pawn instead of this bishop on c5. I'll just take it with the queen, and after h5, I think computer will show me this move. I like this. It's annoying for black. After bishop on c5, yes, they're hitting on f2 and developing the piece and avoiding the exchange of queens, but rook e2 is more than enough. B5 looks active, just h3. Really, even here, had the appearance was a little bit more like maybe black was getting something. This is not good for black. So that is why, going back, let us go to the original position of the Yermolinsky Gambit. Here with play e4. So, as I said, main line, knight 6 on e4, rook on e1. And now that we are on the main line of the Yermolinsky Gambit, let us check all the lines. Because the white is always getting some pretty good position, against almost anything. So, knight on d6, just escaping with the knight through g6. While we have d5, I think this is not to be played by black. I'm not sure what to play. If black gives it back right away, we do have this intermediate queen on h5 move. So after bishop there, we check with the queen. We don't even allow short castles. It looks quite awful. d4 looks maybe like an interesting try. This has been played, and after bishop takes, well, now not knight on d6. This might be idea, so it might seem like the idea, like, okay, now I go with the knight, but here the bishop. But after bishop on b3, we're still about to play b5. No, the idea for black will be to now go with knight on b6. This is the idea after that move. The thing is, we can even take on e6 because the knight on e4 is hanging. So let us say like this: knight c3 and queen e1. Interesting move, even. Oh, once again, but maybe this is a little bit more unclear. Once again, it really looks good for white. I guess this line is playable for black. It's decent. Not too good. Then we have this knight e on f6. This is one of the most natural moves, and I think this will be the main move that you will encounter here. The last line that we're going to see apparently is the best move for black, which is knight to d on f6. It looks a little bit riskier, right? Because we're still living in not a knight on black knight on e4 that it's open to attacks, whatever, queen d3, queen c2. Apparently, this is the best move. Let us check before knight on ef6. Most players will do this. I'll go back, try to be safe. I'm up on up. Just try to go bishop on e7 and short castles, and well, be up on up, and that's why to justify the sacrifice. But once again, d5 comes because this is the idea that you can see initially in the concept of Yermolinsky's Gambit. Once you accept the Gambit and rook on e1 comes, well, the idea of having the e file, it's important considering the location of black's king. They're just lacking development. This is the main idea. So, I mean, you could go knight b6 here. And in here, there was queen d8 takes first, and now takes and knight on g5. Once again, if we think of this 100%, objectively, maybe black has a tenable position. But the extra pawn is falling, and white's play is much easier. Who wouldn't want white in this position? And mostly because, the pawn is going to fall. Okay, we're not even going to be down the material. So that's why, well, last line that I wanted to show you, I think this is probably the best move for black. And it is much more complex because he's being ambitious even in a defensive way, because now the idea is to keep the file closed. You could see that, right? With the other knight, that was a problem with the other knight. That's in any line we want to play d5 and take advantage of the file. So with knight on f6 is really interesting because we're just blocking the e file. So bishop on c2 was the suggestion for white in here, just hitting the knight once more, and looks like we're forcing black to play queen on d5 in here, which looks a little bit risky. I mean, we can always, let us say that the knight goes away, I don't know, knight on d6. I haven't even checked this, but I assume that even well, actually, yeah, d takes e5 is also, any move is strong. But the other detail is that knight takes on f2, it's never enough. I mean, it might seem obvious, but yeah, the idea could be here, well, black is intending bishop on c5 and d3, but we just go back. And here, not even king on h1, we can just block it away. I mean, this is just not enough for black. We exchange and knight bd2. I mean, if they take it with the queen, we have this. Not only this bishop, but this square, this check. So, yeah, probably you gotta take it with the pawn, knight bd2. A line a little bit like the other time, you know, allowing the strength of the rook on the g file, but bishop on e4, rook e7, knight b3. This winning for white. So maybe because of all of that, yeah, after rook on e1, knight d on f6, well, bishop on c2, black there's playing queen on d5. After all, I mean, well, if knight c3, we can just capture that. And well, this probably will be the main line. But look at the continuation, because finally this one even leaves us mostly with a really satisfactory position. I'm not even know about the big advantage objectively, but it's so comfortable. Queen on e2, finally another force, you know, hitting the e4 knight, finally forcing the knight to go away. But now after knight on d6, you can see, well, at least the queen on d5 is protecting the c5 pawn. And knight c3 winning the tempo, well, the same thing. Yeah, they lost a tempo, but queen c6 still protecting the pawn. But the detail is we just take it anyway. And then bishop on e3. Once again, I think objectively white is better here. But I think that in practical terms, it looks like a clear advantage. It's so comfortable. It's really good. So, well, once again, you're not forced to play this Yermolinsky Gambit, and I'm sure that in here you'll see more often knight on c6 or c takes e4. But it's really interesting to know that after a move, because e4 we're already ready to play e5, d5. It forces the deal like kind of immediately. So I really like this gambit, and I think, yeah, you should try it. It's quite interesting. So thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.